We have a disease in India. It's actually more like an epidemic. It is called getting settled. This disease is transmitted from our elders and parents to children when they hit puberty. It prevents them from doing anything that they're passionate about. Sports, arts, anything they're passionate about, as soon as they hit puberty, they need to go in this quest of getting settled. They are never told that getting settled is an eternal process. So once you complete your education, you gotta get a job. You get a job, you need to get married. And this when you think that it's done, I'm settled, they ask you, who's gonna get your kids married? I was lucky. There are two things that happened in my life which allowed me to sort of become settled. First thing that happened was, luckily my company got sold. So the financial part of settling was sort of done. The other interesting thing happened, I did a sort of DNA test on myself, and I found that I have a higher propensity of getting brain degenerative diseases, like Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm an optimistic guy. When I heard that, I said, that's not even my problem. Dementia, if I get, that's my wife's problem. But then I said, let me be considerate towards her and try to solve her problem. So I started doing some research. And something I found was very interesting. My childhood passion has been table tennis. And I found that table tennis actually delays any kind of brain degenerative diseases. So I started playing table tennis. And in the last 7 years, my life has completely transformed. So although it started off with this noble cause of helping my wife, but let me share with you some of the things that it's done to my life which has completely transformed it. So the first thing it did was, I'm in advertising. I have almost 1,000 people dovetailing into me. It always has been a stressful life. Since the time I started playing table tennis every morning, the stress has just vanished off. That 1 hour, I forget what's happening at home, what's happening at work, everything is forgotten, and that's all it does every single day. Second thing, I have this belief. A lot of people say, success brings you happiness. My belief is happiness brings you success. And when I play table tennis in the morning, right, of course, there's scientific reasons, there's endorphins and BDNF proteins that give you happiness. But I know that when I play a sport like table tennis in the morning, the whole day, I'm happy. Happiness is like a muscle. You got to work on it every day. If I play a sport 5 days a week, I'm happy throughout the day, and it's contributed to higher success in whatever I'm doing right now. Thirdly, I think there are a lot of life lessons that you can learn from this. The first 5 years, I was just playing matches. And then, so there is Outlier's book where you spend 10,000 hours to become an expert. But there is another interesting book called Bounce by a UK table tennis player, which says you to stretch yourself in that every hour in that 10,000 hours. And that's what I started doing multi-ball practice and, taking 1,000 balls and doing the same services again and again, which are boring things to do, but boring leads to exciting things. And my game improved tremendously in the last few years. And so you never win the silver, so you only lose the gold. So I won 2 silvers in the 40-plus category in nationals. But that's the kind of improvement I had just 1 year of practice. Thereafter, what I've seen is that even from a work point of view, right, when you play a fast sport like table tennis, I go to work with a sort of a speed in my stride. I'm focused, I want to accomplish more, I'm working faster, and it's a phenomenal experience that you have even when you're working every day. One other interesting thing that happened to me was, I've always had a set of friends that came from my industry, came from similar affluence. A sport allows you to create a very diverse set of friend circle, which is unparalleled. I have an income tax officer, a raw agent, a spot boy in a film industry, all as friends, and the only thing that ranks them is how they will play the table tennis. The last thing I would like to say before I pass it on to a demo is that I think, as you become more and more successful, losing is something that doesn't happen to you that often. Even a person loses to you in a way in the corporate circles, they sort of don't say you lost. They say, it was a good match. But in sport, there is no it's only black and white, right? So every morning when a 13-year-old kid thrashes you, you know that he thrashed you. And it brings a lot of humility into your life on a single everyday basis. So there are 2 takeaways that I would like to convey through this talk. That I think if you have a passion in your life and you left it for whatever reason of getting settled, trust me, if you can come back to that passion in some form or factor, it will help you become whatever you are doing today better. a better author, better teacher, better professional, better leader, anything that you do today, I promise you will become better at it if you start getting back to your passion that you left because of whatever reasons. Secondly, I think any children that we have, to encourage them to keep a passion. It doesn't have to become a career, but if they keep that passion alive in them, they will be happier every day, and happiness will lead to success. Now, I find this game mesmerizing, and I thought that just talking about it is not going to be of any help. I need to show you how complex this game is and how fascinating it is. And I thought that who better can demonstrate that than somebody who's the best ranked Indian player in the world at this point in time, Satyan Ganasekaran. There was a league in India where the top 30 players in the world came down. The only Indian player who didn't lose a single match was Satyan in UTT first league. Last month, he played in the World Championship where he beat a world number 10 and reached the pre-quarterfinals. That's top 16 in the world. No Indian player has reached that level ever. He's a Arjuna Awardee winner, and he plays this complex sport which looks very simple, but the ball can travel at 250 kilometers an hour. The rotations of the ball can go to 133, 150 rotations per second. That's the speed of the spin that you can get on the ball. And this is with hundreds of different types of rubbers, thousands of services. It's a very, very complex sport. But I want to just show you some things that Satyan can do, and then we can have a Q&A with him. Yeah. So this is a basic topspin counter stroke. I know it looks very simple to do, but anybody who thinks it's simple has to come here and try it out. So if his action is so small, but if you try to block this ball, it's going to go for a 6. That's the kind of spin that the ball gets from the action that Satyan is doing right now. From a reflexes point of view, is the second fastest sport in the world after squash. So this is a plain simple backhand counter. The perfection that he gets when it's closer to the net and the speed that he gets with this, it is when, at least when a player like me looks at it, this is pure excellence and pure class. It's unbelievable the speed at which he hits it. Yeah, I think, Satyan, you can go on with this all your life also. So I think it's just amazing the accuracy you have. I think what I was talking about, that in spite of having this raw talent, becoming such an amazing player at a young age, in a way, you were encouraged to also do engineering, right? And you completed engineering. And what were the things that you went through? And do you think that's essential? Because I come from a background where a lot of sports people have reached high positions in corporate life with great jobs without having to do an educational thing. World-class sports itself is enough for them to become a great leader. So I want to know your views, what you went through and what happened.
Yes, coming from a academic-driven South Indian family, I'm basically from Chennai, and parents put me in the sport, not imagining I would become India #1, of course. So they just put me for any physical activity, and I was good in academics as well, unfortunately. So I was in the crossroads when I finished 12th. I was junior India #1 and scored really well in my boards, and they didn't know what to do. I obviously had the passion for table tennis, and I want to go into the sport. But they said, what happens, what happens if you get injured? Or, I don't see a profession. Because, there is a science, you call it only extracurricular activities. And taking that as a profession was not an option then. So I had to convince them, but, I couldn't do that at the age of 17. And I went into engineering. I had to, balance both engineering and my sport. It was really a difficult task. Many times, I would think about a Laplace transformation and a foreign topspin technique. I used to dream together when I used to play. I was confused or thinking about exams and my sport. So it was a very difficult task, but I hanged on. I think the struggle during the engineering days was the most important part of my life. It really taught me a lot of things on how to handle life and how to continue, keep doing your passion, following that. Because I couldn't sleep one day without playing the sport. So that kind of passion was there. So I just went through it. I fought really hard. I used to wake up like 4:30 in the morning and go to bed at 11. I used to wake up before my mom and wake my mom up. And many days I used to sleep. Mom used to keep my food over on the table and sleep over. And there have been many days where being at the same home, I never see my parents because I only see them asleep all the day. So it was that tough, but I went through it. I enjoyed the struggle. I think that is what is success for me. You know, the struggle which you go through, it's not about the medal you win, but the struggle you go through. But I fought hard. The 4 years was really, really hard for me. I never gave up. My ranking was going down, but thanks to the entire support, you know, the coach really didn't give up on me. And when I finished the engineering in 2014, the same year I became India number one. You know, in the men's event in the country. So I proved them, and I was really happy that I was back in the sport, which gave me everything. But suddenly, you know, my dad passed away in 2015 with lung cancer. I think that was the moment which really changed me. Coming out of that safe zone, or what you call the secured option, like the security which you're talking about, and there is no security even to your life and what is about with the career. So that kind of approach I really had, and that is what I think made me today here, you know, staying in the Indian team for so many years, winning the Commonwealth, Asian Games, and medal. I think that really one moment really changed me as a person, going hard on, aggressive on the court, and not thinking about what the outcome is or what the result is. Play for yourself and don't have to answer anyone else.
I think one of the things we were discussing, right? What can be done so that, you know, we can produce world-class sportsmen in non-cricketing sports? Just what are the 2-3 things that we need to do as corporates, as leaders, all the people in the audience? What can we do to help the sport reach the true heights that it's capable of?
The sport in the last few years has picked up really well. I mean, the people have started seeing it quite seriously. The government is doing a great job, and some organizations like Go Sports have been supporting me, are doing a great job as well. But I think the extra edge, you know, we won the Asian Games medal after a gap of 60 years in table tennis. I think that was a great milestone for us, and that really made us believe that, you know, Olympic medal is definitely outside. But to get that extra edge, it's about the small details. We need to get into the, you know, the corporates can give us that extra edge. You know, you have the professional approach to the sport. You know, pick up like top 2 from every country, like, you know, in every sport, and give them the best of facilities. You know, get them whatever they need. Definitely, we'll bring back home Olympic medals, and India is going to be a superpower sporting nation in 2024 Olympics. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Satyan, and I hope this comes true of we winning the Olympic medal. Thank you.